Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So if you're a remote worker or a high-performing individual, you probably know the feeling. Long hours at the desk, back-to-back Zoom calls, and by the end of the day, you feel completely stiff, tense, and out of regulation. Here at Movement-Based Therapy, we help people like you reconnect with your body so you can feel stronger, move better, and perform at your best without the overwhelm. So today, I wanted to show you 3 simple movements that you can do anywhere, anytime, to help you release tension, restore posture, or help open up areas that get stiff when either we sit too long or perform a repeated motion over a prolonged period of time. These movements are meant to be quick, practical, and easy to slide in a busy workday. So let's get to it. All right, we're gonna start here with a little head and neck lateral flexion, giving ourselves a little overpressure here. So we're gonna stay seated in our chair, nice and upright. We don't wanna be rounding through our low back. We don't wanna be hunched forward. So make sure we have a nice and elongated posture through our torso as well as through our neck. Neck and shoulders should be nice and relaxed. And all I'm doing here is I'm just gonna drop my head to the side, nice and easy. Once I drop my head as far as I'm able to go, I can use that same hand and come right over the top and give myself a little overpressure. I might be able to get a little further into it. And when I do that, maybe I engage a little bit of a stretch in that upper neck area. As I'm holding this, what I want to think about doing is that opposite shoulder. I want to think about pulling that shoulder down and away from my ear, and you'll really kind of get that. That's the cherry on top when it comes to engaging this stretch. So here, I'm gonna come over the top, let the head drop first, give myself a little overpressure, thinking about drawing that shoulder away from the ear and really targeting that upper trap and neck area. Hold for a few seconds and then I can relax. And then I'll do it again. And then relax, right? If I want to sink that breath, I can take a big breath in. Then as I come to the side, big exhale. Feeling a nice stretch in that shoulder, upper neck area here. And then relax. And then I can hit that other side. Something like this, you want to rep out at a self-guided cadence, right? So hold for a few seconds and then relax and back off. And then do it again. This repeated motion is going to help release strain. For something like this, what we want to think about doing is repping it out anywhere between 8 to 10 reps on each side. Anywhere between 1, 2, if you got space for a third set, slide in that third set. But 1 set, 10 reps on each side, nice little micro break that you can throw in throughout your workday that will really help, especially if you're glued to the screen all day, especially if you notice you have that forward head posture. This is just gonna help alleviate some of that tension. The next one is gonna be a seated trunk activation. More or less what we're doing is we're utilizing the diaphragm. So it's a diaphragmatic breath technique that we can use to stabilize our trunk. So the same idea here, we wanna be nice and erect in our chair, so nice and upright. Legs are gonna be nice and relaxed. When I do this technique, I don't want you to think about lifting your legs up. I really want you to focus on filling the belly with your diaphragm. And in doing that, what's going to happen is that diaphragm expands down into the belly, down even into the pelvic floor, and that is what we're going to use to create trunk rigidity and stabilization. I'm going to make C's with my hands, and I want my index and middle finger to slide right in front of that hip bone. I come right around myself, I find that hip bone, and I just try to slide those fingers deep right to the inside of that bone area. When I'm in this position, I want to make sure that I'm not compensating through my neck and shoulders, right? So nice and elongated neck, relaxed torso here, hands to the side into my waist and sliding right into that, right to the inside of that hip bone. And then from here, all I want to think about doing with a nice and relaxed jaw, lips pressed together, I'm going to focus on a nasal breath, breathing in through my nose, filling my belly up. So I want to feel the belly expand. I don't want to have what I call a second or accessory breathing technique where I'm using my chest and my neck muscles. Something like that would look something like, as soon as I breathe in, my shoulders and my neck start to get tense. So I want to make sure that my neck is elongated. As I think about growing my crown, that's going to help relax my shoulders. And now when I use this breathing technique, I'm going to really feel my belly start to expand. And you'll actually feel the diaphragm start to press to that index and middle finger. So you'll feel that pressure of the diaphragm press out. That is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm here, I'm nice and relaxed and elongated. And I just want to relax my face. Don't think about it too much. Just focus on breathing. All we're doing here is breathing, okay? So all we're doing is nice big breath in through the nose. Feel the belly expand. Feel the pressure of the diaphragm press out against that index and middle finger. And then exhale. Just a nice smooth cadence. So if you want to put a little tempo to this, you can breathe in for about 3 to 5 seconds. You can exhale for about 5 to 8 seconds. nice and relaxed. This style of tempo breathing will also help down-regulate your nervous system and invoke a sense of just calmness and relaxation. Again, right? So nice and upright again. Let's try it. Take that big breath in through the nose. All the while, I'm staying nice and erect, nice and upright. I'm utilizing the axis of the diaphragm. And in doing this, what's happening here is the diaphragm is expanding circumferentially, but is also pressing against our spine and creating stabilization through our low back. This simple breathing technique alone, if you slide it into your workday as a micro break, can significantly make benefits on things like lower back pain. This is a seated trunk activation technique that we can use. If you want to tie this in and kind of create a full-on micro break here, you can use a side neck flexion. So you hit 10 reps on each side, and then right from there, you go to a seated diaphragm technique. So seated trunk activation, all I'm doing is breathing. You can do this anywhere between 5, 6, 7 breaths total, using that tempo cadence. You might feel pretty relaxed after that. These are 2 movements that you can easily slide into a micro break. Again, 1, 2, 3 sets. This is very low-hanging fruit, very safe to do, and it's very self-guided. So you don't want to push yourself too far where you're overstraining or overworking and you're making yourself worse off. The whole practice in this is 1, posture and position, and 2, ensuring we're using the right techniques. We're not compensating through muscles that don't need to be kicking in, and just, again, reconnecting with our body through these simple techniques. So I got one more technique here for you. This is going to be a seated figure 4 technique. If you don't have this range of motion, that is totally fine. I will show you a modification that you can do for this, but the technique is really simple. I'm going to back up here, right? And what I want to think about doing, again, as always, nice and upright. I want to make sure that I don't buck through my rib cage. So I don't want to arch through my low back and pop my rib cage up and now compress my low back. Simply elongation here means elongated from my hips all the way through the crown of my head, one nice long straight line. And then from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cross in my right ankle over my left knee. I want to give myself some support across the front of that ankle as well as over the front of the knee. Really stiff in this position might present like this and say, I'm in this position and I can feel the stretch in my hip. If you're there, totally fine. If you have a little bit more range of motion, right, make sure we support both joints, right, our ankle joint and our knee joint. And I'm just going to be here nice and easy. All I want to think about doing from here now is I'm just going to have a nice long spine. Think of it like you're wearing a sweater and you're just pulling the drawstrings from the front of your sweater. So you're leading the chest over that shin. And as I lead my chest, again, I'm not rounding here, so I'm elongated, and I'm just leading that chest over my shin, feeling a good stretch in that hip. So the leg that's crossed over the ankle, you should feel it right in that kind of butt cheek area. And I'm just leading into it, holding for a few seconds, and then backing off. All of these movements, besides the breathing, which is kind of the same but a little different, but any dynamic movement we do or any stretch or any mobilization or technique that I do, I'm a firm believer in slow, steady cadence, repeated motion. So we're moving to a slow, steady cadence to our own intuitive cadence and rhythm here. So I hold for a few seconds, maybe I'll breathe in, breathe out, and then I'll back off. And I'll do it again, nice and easy here. Nice and easy. Something like this, you can do anywhere between 8 to 10 reps on each side. You'll really feel a relaxation on that hip, on that glute. And especially with the breathing, it takes it up another notch because the breathing helps us get more in tune with our nervous system with the movements that we're doing throughout our day. And really, if you think about it, we can start to build tension in our shoulders as we're working on a task. Maybe we're focused on the screen doing some remote work, or maybe we're working on a piece of equipment, or we're in the field at work, essentially doing our thing. And when we get caught up in a task, sometimes our nervous system gets dysregulated. When we start to get tension, we start to breathe, we start to get really focused. So this breathing, this big, deep diaphragmatic breathing helps us, again, reconnect with ourselves, helps us downregulate our nervous system, and helps us invoke that sense of peace, calmness, and relaxation, which is going to help us with recovery and resiliency. So a modification for this, really easy enough, we can do something like a Captain Morgan. So if we have something to put our leg up on, we can do that. And then from here, I'm going to grab my opposite hand to the inside of my knee and just sort of push it out as I hinge forward. Again, I want to make sure I'm nice and elongated, but I'm here pushing that leg out, and I should feel a good stretch on that outside of the hip, maybe the inside of the thigh even. But just another great way to access hip mobility. Whether we're seated, whether we're standing, we got options. Okay, so those are 3 movements that you can easily incorporate throughout your day as something known as a micro break. And when we think about micro breaks, we really want to break it down as a 1 to 2 sequence. You want to get 1 to 2 minutes of meaningful movement every 1 to 2 hours throughout your workday. These 3 movements, you got your lateral neck flexion with a little self-guided overpressure, you got seated diaphragmatic trunk activation, and then you got a little hip mobility here, seated figure 4, or you got the Captain Morgan. So some options there from the neck to the trunk, all the way down into the hips, that will help you stay balanced throughout your workday. Sort of like we have our own personal hygiene routine where we brush our teeth and take a shower every day, I hope. We also have our movement hygiene routine where we're taking care of ourselves through movement. It doesn't have to be a whole ton, but we just need to make sure that we're sprinkling it in throughout our day so that we have that symmetry and we're maintaining that baseline. So before you go, I have a little question for you, and I'd love to hear in the comments below, which areas do you feel are the tightest for you? Is it your neck? Is it your shoulders? Do you feel a little strain in your low back? Do you feel mid-back stiffness throughout your day? Are you feeling like you're not able to access hip mobility, or maybe your ankles feel a little stiff? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I will be sure to read them, and this is good for me because it helps me create future content that is specifically catered to you all. With that, I just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so that you're notified when I do upload videos. And again, it just really helps that YouTube algorithm to push my channel out, as I really want to put energy into this and help grow it. So your support really means the world to me. I truly do appreciate it. And please don't hesitate to engage. Leave a comment below. I love to read what you got going on in your life. And if there's any value for me to create content on what you mentioned, I'd be happy to do so. So thanks again for the support, and I'll see you all in the next one.